Everyone always thinks these girls are lying when they introduce themselves. You see, since Lucy and Maria have extremely different interests, people are often surprised that they're best friends. So imagine how mind-blown they are when these girls tell them that they're actually twins. As it turns out, since their dad is white and their mom is mixed, they were shocked to somehow deliver two completely different babies. While Lucy Elmer had blue eyes and straight red hair, Maria Elmer had brown eyes and curly black hair. But although they were still biological twins, of course no one at school believed them. The other kids would make Lucy and Maria show them their birth certificates for proof and also made fun of them, calling them adopted. Maria also always wished that she had Lucy's straight hair. But although things were really tough for a while, they've now learned to appreciate their unique differences and love telling friends about their twin.
Albinism is a rare congenital condition which affects an estimated 1 in 18 to 20,000 people. Those born with albinism have a lack of melanin, which is the chemical that creates pigment. So the more melanin you have, the darker your hair, skin and eyes will be.
They neither have special powers nor disappear.
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Kiam. This is your brother Bawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Kodash. All praises and glory is due, especially in these times. And this video is going to be going into, well, I'm sure that you saw the clip at the beginning of this one with those basically what they call them is fraternal twins, right? Fraternal twins. So let me go and get that in the Google. Fraternal twins. And the reason why I'm doing these two videos together is because the spirits brought these two videos that I'm just going into right now. It came up on my feed at the same time, right? So I decided to, so I decided that rather than separating it and doing two different videos, right, I should just join it together and do, a single video on the topic. And that topic, of course, is going into, right, Jacob and Esau, man. And this just shows you that, hey, it is very possible to, for Esau and Jacob to be two different, to come from the same womb but still have different appearances, because just like you saw in the short at the beginning of the video, right, it is very possible for that to happen. So now let's go into the definition of fraternal twins. Fraternal twins, also called dizygotic twins, born from two separate eggs fertilized by two different sperm, resulting in twins who are no more like any other sibling. They can be the same or different sexes and share about 50% of their genes, right? So basically the idea is, they are born from two separate eggs, and and those twins, they came out looking like exactly like Jacob and Esau would. And just ignore the fact that the father looks like an Edomite. It could still be a Jake, right? But just ignore the fact that the father looks like an Edomite. The point is that the twins came out, different colors, and according to Esau Edom, they would be different. There would be two different races of people, but in all actuality, they are the same race, which is whatever race or nation that their father belongs to, right? And this is just a callback to exactly what happened in the scriptures. Okay, so let's get that in the book of Genesis. So we're going to the book of Genesis, Genesis, the 25th chapter, right? So this is the book of Genesis 25, verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. Right? So it is very likely that Isaac and Esau didn't even share the same egg, right? That they were likely fraternal twins. In other words, two different peoples, two different nations, two different manner of people. So I think normally twins share about like what 75% of their DNA. So let's get that real quick. How much DNA do twins share? So yeah, how much DNA do twins share? Identical twins share 100% of their DNA, while fraternal twins share approximately 50% of their DNA, just like any other sibling, right? So most likely, man, Jacob and Esau didn't come from the same egg. So let me try this as well, just to get a better understanding of how twins are born. So let's get that. How are twins made? So yeah, twins are formed in one or two ways, either through the fertilization of two separate eggs, fraternal twins, or through the splitting of a single fertilized egg, identical twins. So let's do how are identical twins. Identical twins are formed when a single fertilized egg splits into two distinct embryos, each developing into separate individuals. This splitting occurs early in the development process, typically within the first few weeks of pregnancy. Since both embryos originate from the same fertilized egg and share the same genetic information, identical twins are virtually genetically identical. So right, so basically identical twins are sharing the same egg, the same sperm and everything else, right? But fraternal twins, it's two different eggs and two different sperms fertilizing two different seeds, staying or sharing the same womb, which most likely, right, this is just me speaking as a man through the spirit, that Jacob and Esau were, and that is why they came out looking so different. So yeah, Genesis 25 verse 23, and Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So we already read that the elder shall serve the younger, and the first to come out was Esau Edom, as the scriptures say. He came out red all over like a hairy garment, right? Because his blood was showing forth through his skin, and also the blood from the womb that he was in was also, clear on his skin, because he was translucent, right? So now Genesis 25 verse 26, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, right? So Isaac was 60 years old. So this is just the story of the birth of Jacob and Esau, and even the fact that as Esau came out, right, Jacob followed him with his hand holding on to the heel of Esau Edom. That is also significant as well, right? And let's go to the KJV, because even the scriptures goes into that at the same way. Let's get that. Let's just go straight into that. Second Ezra 6 verse 9. Okay, second Ezra 6 verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held fast the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Or that question Esdras asked down not, right? So the birth was to signify, right, the kind of the transition of rulership from Esau into the hand of Jacob in these last days, right? And that's why you always tell you, that's why starting from the elder apostles on down, we always tell you, Jakes, that look,
90%
That's
of people
when
don't know the
the
money saving trick.
prophecy starts
Yes,
to come to pass,
use
right? The
OPay.
MOT
When
being
you
World
sign up
War
for
Three,
OPay, it will
that
give
it
you a
won't
100
take
naira
too
call
long
voucher for
for
free. Call time and
everything
data
to
recharge rebate
take
of
place, and then Aloja
6%.
Hawashai will
Deposit
return, right?
10,000 naira to get
Things will
50
just
naira
start
cash back.
happening and
Your
start
money is
moving
safe
quickly,
without knowing
right? So
it.
it
In
transition from
addition,
the
if there are people
transition
around you
from
who
the
don't use
MOTB
OPay,
to
then
World
here's
War
the
Three,
chance.
and to
Invite
Aloja
3
Hawashai
friends to get
return,
up to
he saw Edom
6,000
being
naira
destroyed
cash
and the
back. The
kingdom
offer
being
is limited
transferred
time.
because
Click the link to
just it's
download
just
now.
like our forefather Jacob held the heel of Esau Edom during their birth. It's the same way that these kingdoms will transition from Esau Edom to our people, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians swiftly, okay? And this is this is basically the origin of Jacob and Esau. Remembering that Esau Edom came out, a completely different pigment, right? A completely different nation than but mainly a completely different pigment than Jacob, and that is how we are able to identify who Esau Edom, right? The descendants of Esau Edom are in this modern day, and this is of course the so-called red man that is ruling over the earth. Okay, because not only do they fit all the criteria and all the characteristics to be Esau, it was prophesied that they would be ruling in the last days, and they would also be in rulership, right? In the end of days, when Esau Edom's kingdom falls and it is transferred to Jacob, and who is in rulership in these last days, right? If you ask the average Edomite, they'll tell you that, oh well, nobody's in rulership, right? Even though, it is very obvious who is in rulership of the earth right now. Who are the ones that conquered the world and quote unquote civilized the world. But it just shows you the deceit of Esau Edom, man. These devils can't tell the truth, even though they know that they're in rulership. Right, so right. So now we go into the next video, which is going into these anything close. Oh well. Right, so like I was saying, we go into the next video, which is this right here, the albino village in Ghana, a community full of albinos, right? And this is another video. It's another video of the same.
Neither have special.
This is another video that is similar to what we were just going into that popped up to my feed, because basically what Esau Edom is a clean albino, right? Or rather a clean leper, because what is considered albinoism today, right? In the scriptures, it is considered leprosy. So let me get a quick preset just to show you what I am talking about. And that's why I played the beginning part of the video, just for you to hear that basically what leprosy is a genetic mutation where an individual loses or is not born with their melanin, right? And that melanin is basically the protein that gives the skin its color. So let's get this. Oh, strange. It's supposed to be in the book of Exodus. It's supposed to be in the book of Exodus. Right, so this is it right here. So this is the book of Exodus 4 verse 4. And Yahweh said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put, okay, let me start from the top. Okay, Exodus 4 verse 1. And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yahweh hath not appeared unto thee. And Yahweh said unto him, what is in thy hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from before it. And Yahweh said unto Moses, put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that Yahweh of power of their fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac and the power of Jacob hath appeared unto thee. And Yahweh said furthermore unto him, Put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. Right, so basically what leprosy is, right, in the scriptures is what is called albinoism. Okay, that's what leprosy is in the scriptures, and that's exactly what happened to Moses right here. So next time I'm going to another precept. So this is the book of Nahum 12. I know what, I think I was go to the main point, because no need to just get the background on this. Okay, let's just focus on the main point. Nahum 12 verse 10. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Right, so her entire body, she lost her pigment and she became leprous. In other words, she became an albino. Basically, she had this appearance of the individual that you see on the screen, right, that are not melanated, that they lost their pigment. And that's exactly how Miriam looked as well, right? Because according to the scriptures, okay, leprosy is, when you lose your pigment and you became white. That's exactly what happened to Esau Edom when he was born. So basically, he was born leprous. That's why he was born a clean leper, because he was born a clean leper. Okay, he was born leprous. Right. So this is just going into that. This is just going into what leprosy actually is, and also fraternal twins, and how it is possible to actually for Rebecca to give birth to Jacob and Esau, and them being two different colors, right, to represent who they are as the people, right, the righteous and the wicked. So like I said, Esau Edom being a clean leper. So I'm just going to end the video right here. So with that, once again, all praises, honor and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham Yawashai, Ba'asham Rakakwadash, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, and through the Spirit, I hope you are calm and you are quite edified. Shalom.